under the main UNRWA headquarters building in the Rimal neighborhood of Gaza City. This is where Hamas chose to establish one of its most sensitive and largest bases. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your daily boots on the ground update about what is happening in Israel on this 126th day of the war against Hamas. The big news today is that the IDF discovered a Hamas facility located in tunnels and bunkers underneath UNRWA headquarters in Gaza City. The facility included large banks of computer servers, power generators, and other sophisticated infrastructure that must have cost millions of dollars and required a great deal of activity to build and maintain. But UNRWA officials are claiming that they knew nothing about it. I will have more to say about that in a moment. But first, let me tell you how it all happened. The IDF discovered this facility after a series of security sweeps in the Shati area and the Tel El Khud neighborhood of Gaza City. These areas were hotbeds of Hamas terrorist activity, but an unusually high concentration of terrorists was found in the central building of none other than the UN Refugee Agency, UNRWA. These battles included some of the most intense engagements of the entire Gaza war, and as many as 120 Hamas terrorists were eliminated in the heavy exchanges of fire. After the dust settled, a careful search of the area, guided by the intelligence of the Shin Bet Israeli Security Service, led the fighters to a tunnel shaft near an UNRWA school. This shaft led to an underground route that served as a significant asset of Hamas's military intelligence and passed under the building that serves as UNRWA's central headquarters in the Gaza Strip. I'm talking about a Hamas tunnel filled with computer servers that runs underneath an UNRWA elementary school and an UNRWA headquarters. Not suspicious at all, huh? The route of the tunnels was built with a depth of 18 meters and a length of 700 meters and contained several side doors. Intelligence material of a wide variety was located during the operation, and it is even now being examined. Many future operations will be planned and executed based on this treasure of intelligence, and the ability of Hamas to operate will be severely hampered because it no longer has access to these materials for its own purposes. Additional points of interest include the very sophisticated infrastructure set up inside the tunnel to supply electrical power to all the computers and other equipment. This infrastructure was connected to UNRWA's central headquarters building, which indicates that electricity was supplied to the tunnel route through UNRWA assets. This is one more reason that UNRWA's claim to know nothing about the Hamas facility is difficult to take seriously. Any competent electrician would take one look at the meters measuring how much electricity these buildings were drawing and know right away that there was something suspicious going on. In any event, the IDF and Shin Bet did not waste any time once this Hamas facility had been discovered, but immediately went upstairs and raided the central headquarters of UNRWA, which contains the offices of several humanitarian and international organizations. To their complete lack of surprise, they discovered large quantities of weapons and ammunitions, grenades, and explosives. In addition, the offices of UNRWA officials contained intelligence tools and documents that proved they were used by Hamas for its terrorist activities. At this point, I have to take a break from reporting the news and make a comment on this topic. How could UNRWA possibly expect anyone to believe that they were unaware that Hamas was using these buildings for the terrorist activities? Do they really expect to be taken seriously when they say they were unaware of the vast amounts of electricity that was sent off from their systems to be used by the Hamas computer networks underneath their headquarters? Do they expect us to take them seriously when they say they just didn't notice the huge piles of weapons and ammunition Hamas had stored in these buildings? Well, I don't believe that they didn't notice Hamas operatives carrying all these weapons and storing them inside closets and rooms in their facilities without noticing. Just doesn't make sense to me. Listen, there's no room for UNRWA to claim innocence, and there's no moral ambiguity here. This is conclusive, tangible evidence of how UNRWA allows Hamas to use its infrastructure. If they really didn't know, it's because they didn't want to know. Israel has been providing evidence of UNRWA's collusion with Hamas for years, and in the past few months, it has made several calls for UNRWA facilities to be subject to serious inspections. UNRWA has refused to cooperate with any of these inspections, scornfully dismissing them as unnecessary and implying that they are above suspicion. We can only hope that the world will know better than to take this at face value going forward. On that note, another issue here is that the UNRWA headquarters is supposed to be used as an HML. One of the officers who was there said all the DVRs and all the cameras were simply disconnected. They even removed the signs from here so that we could not identify ourselves and we would not be able to find a way in the building. Inside the closet, there is a bag with ready-to-use grenades and another magazine for a rifle. This is unfortunately what UNRWA allows Hamas to do in infrastructure and facilities. Okay, it's important to understand what the IDF found in the tunnels. The IDF found the central servers used by Hamas that included all the organizational information that currently is in the hands of the IDF. This is a great victory for Israel and perhaps a mortal wound for this evil terrorist organization. It also shows that UNRWA was cooperating with Hamas, a terrorist organization in the Gaza Strip. Moving on, the IDF conducted a precision strike on senior Hamas officials in a densely populated neighborhood of the southern Gaza city of Rafah early Sunday morning. Hamas terrorists who were eliminated in this strike included Ahmed Elikobi and two other senior officers of the Hamas General Security Office in Rafah were also eliminated in the strike. While all this was going on in Gaza, the IDF was very busy on the northern border with Lebanon as well. A large coordinated strike on terrorist positions in the Jadre area of southern Lebanon was carried out early Sunday morning. The Air Force, in cooperation with the Shin Bet, also carried out a strike on the car of a senior Hamas official in Beirut, in Lebanon. The official, Asher Salah, was reported to be in critical condition in a Beirut area hospital. IDF forces in the north continue to closely monitor the border and remain ready to defend Israel against any threats from Lebanon or Syria. Please help us to spread the truth about what is happening in Israel by sharing these videos. Also continue to pray for Israel and hope for a future without evil like Hamas in the world. Of course, please continue to pray for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. And thank you for making a difference in this region.